I own a dev shop based in Israel, in Tel Aviv, next to Tel Aviv, and we're basically helping American and Israeli startups with stuff they need. I come mainly from React and Frontend, been doing backend for the last few years as well. That's it. What I do here is basically learn and see how things are working and to test out these new technologies. What I want to do is basically understand, like everyone's doing, giving simple examples, and I want to build something real life with the real life considerations and see how they cope with that, what the degree of freedom I have, and what can we do. And I'm just curious on how it works. This is what the tools that I want to use, and the idea is to build a product around it. So instead of like picking the right tools for the job, I'm picking the right job for the tool, and um, and nothing is planned. So I want to see the product evolve, and I want to see the code evolve. I have little knowledge of Ban and Elysia and stuff like that. The only experience I had was about a month ago doing a small MVP just to try it out, and it was nice. So I thought I'd share. And yeah, and the idea is to explore the product together. So let's start. On top of that, we're going to use, like, this will take care of a bunch of things. We're going to use Elysia for a framework for our backend. So they show crazy numbers. If you run Express on Node, you get this amount of requests, and it can handle. And Elysia has about 18 times more. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You have the details here of what they've done and how. And the API is very nice. It's very easy. It's like modern Express. That was the feeling. You can have these schemas inside. It's very nice. You can have Swagger with one line of code, which is very nice as well. End-to-end type safety. So it's like a TRPC thingy. So you can keep the types from the backend to the client. And yeah, so you have different plugins and stuff like that. Very nice thing to use. Extremely fast as well. For client, I want to try HTMX. So for example, this is one of the reasons that the TRPC part, this one, so I don't really care for that now, because what I want to do is, at first at least, is do everything as server-side rendering using HTMX, and I'll be trying to avoid as much as I can the use of JavaScript on the client. In such cases that I will have to use JavaScript on the client, I'm thinking about using this one. I don't know, I just stumbled upon it somewhere and it looks nice. It's very easy, very naive. It reminds me of AngularJS a bit, which actually I don't like, but it gives a lot of tools, a lot of stuff we can use. If we have HTMX that takes care of most of the things we need, then there's no real need for something big. Most of the times you want to have like local states and local stuff. Again, it's an assumption I'm having right now. I don't really know. The idea is to explore these tools. That's what I understood from doing some research on that. And for CSS, I want to try UnoCSS. Why Uno? I'm an emotion kind of guy. I use style components with React. So here I decided to use some sort of a CSS framework, only because of the fact that I'm going to use HTMX, and I thought it will be much easier to integrate between the two. I want to be like, let's say, framework agnostic. So now what? First thing I'm going to do is use Elysia to install. So we have like ban create Elysia app, and I hope I pronounce it correctly. I think it's Elysia. And that's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna talk about the product and what we're gonna build. Let me open up my terminal. Cool. I just created this folder for this project, for this session, and then I'm gonna run ban create Elysia app. Before that, I'm gonna undo that. Okay. I want to check what version I have of ban. Okay, so let me quickly see. I want to update the dependency now. I want to upgrade, get the latest version of ban upgrade. So I pre-installed ban. I had it from 0.7, I think. So yeah, that's how an upgrade looks like. Kind of straightforward. I like it. And let's create our app and let's call it feature request. Okay, so it took 800 milliseconds, which is nice. It installed ban types and Elysia, 8 packages installed. It did it really quickly. Cool. So let's see what we got. We got feature request. Let's go into feature request. Okay. Okay. I'll try to handle docs like so. Okay. I hope it's convenient. Do I set it up? Maybe I'll make it a bit smaller. Okay. Please tell me if it's fine. Let's go. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna see what I got. So this is my index.ts file. Hello Elysia, console log. Let's see if it can run. Ban run dev. Okay, localhost 3000. Okay, so it works. I'm gonna show it in a second. I just want to change the port number because 3000 is something that everyone is using all the time. I don't know why. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have hello Elysia, everything is working fine. Let's look at what we got here. So ESLint. Okay, I'm gonna ignore for that. Like I'm gonna ignore most of the errors that are like lint stuff and maybe TS stuff, because at least at first, because I want to go to the interesting things, get there as soon as possible, and then see what's what. Cannot find console. Do you need to change your target library to? I'm gonna skip it for now. The Elysia from. Let's do the fun things first, and let's see how it works. So I'm gonna go for. Let's start with Swagger. So I'm gonna add a new package. Great, and I want to install it, so I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I have the app, which is this thing, and yeah, let's do this and let's break it up a bit, and that should be fine. Okay, and yeah, so we want to use, right? We want to use, how do they say, is a function, an empty function. Okay, so basically if I go to /swagger, I should see stuff. Let's see what we got here. Let me refresh, everything is fine. See if we have Swagger installed. Cool, so this is our first endpoint. We can try it out. We can execute, so we got the information. This is the response body. Nice. So that's the main thing I'm gonna work with at the moment, just to see how it works. So suppose I wanna, let's do app post full, and let's do return for now. So we We have /foo with a post, try it out, execute. We got response body foo. Okay, cool. Now let's look at see why developers love Elysia. Okay. Get started. Concept, performance, simplicity. Okay, so this is how we access params. Cool. So this is the post. Let's take it for a spin. So they have a sign in function that gets a body, and that's the body. Okay. Let's try. Let me console log the body. Pam 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 pam. Where's our swagger? Okay, and let's try it out. Can't I pass? Okay, let's do a weird. I remember you can add stuff. Okay, so I forgot the like I can't always forget the syntax for curl. Right, so that's what we want to do. Body undefined. Let's. Okay, not the body undefined. Okay, so this is working. For some reason, I can't pass body. Maybe I need to define something first and it will let me. So the syntax was, so this is the actual function and this is the schema. Okay, so let's take it like so and let's pass it here. Okay, and I want to grab the example value, so I get the schema, try it out. Okay, cool, awesome. So we got the body and we have stuff working. Nice, that was easy. So our backend basically is able to respond. So far, I feel like the experience is nice. The next thing I want to do is let's hook up the HTML part. Okay, so my goal is to respond with what I got. So let's create a small function over here. We're gonna throw it away in a second or put it elsewhere. So let's go for function. Let's go for foo. For const. Okay, so I get the body and I want to return a div, and here I want to have the username. Okay, so for that I need to change my file to TSX. Okay, it broke, cool. Let me go for ban run dev. Okay, this is the main. Okay, so instead of doing that, I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to leave it because I can change the main like they suggest because I'm pointing to TS, but eventually this file shouldn't be a JSX file. So let me quickly create a controllers folder, and let's go with foo ts6. Okay, and let's open foo ts6. Cool. So we are here. I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna put it here, and yeah, of course, JS6 flag is provided. Okay, we're gonna edit, and yeah, so we want to do return post foo body, and here we're gonna change it to post foo export, right? So let's import post foo. So we are posting foo, so we need to check what's going on here. Cannot use JS6, so we need to go to this config, right? And we have JSX. Now let's see, I think we need to set a factory, and I don't remember. So plugins, on the plugins, let's go for HTML. Okay, JSX, yeah. The plugin re-exports KitKat HTML, which is JSX factory, starting string for creating HTML strings from JSX. Please report JSX related. Okay, so he wants these things. Okay, JSX React. I'm gonna ignore that for a second. Okay, so here is our React, and okay, we have React, we have JS factory as JS6 factory as HTML create element, then we have JS6 fragment, so we're gonna have HTML fragment, and plugins. Okay, and again, I'm gonna ignore that for a second. Okay, so it's running. Cannot find variable HTML. Okay, so it could be the plugin. I'm gonna do it now. So run install. It made a strong case. Great, we have this thing, and let's add the plugin row. Let's drop it here. Let's see. I'm gonna do this. Right. Oh yeah. I need to install HTML. Right. I need to install it here. Okay. And I'm just gonna use it here, like our Swagger. Okay. Things should do something. Cannot find Elysia HTML, but oh yeah, okay. So far what I like is that it's kind of fast. So far no big issues. TypeScript seems to work. Let's see, post foo body, what are you complaining about? Okay, the extra space was an issue for him. Ban run dev, let's see, localhost 9000. Okay, so let me export const get root, and let's work with the get in the browser which is nice. Hey Raj Grak, how you doing? Welcome. So what I'm gonna do now is just return this thing, and I want to see if it works. And here I'm gonna respond with get root, and let's open the browser. Cannot find variable get root. It's usually best to import stuff. Okay, we got it. Root. Okay, so we have HTML or JSX is working for us. What does it say here? JSX element implicitly has any type. Okay, I'm not gonna deal with it now. I want to get to the important thing, the interesting things. So let's see. We have button set up, HTML set up, a schema for body. I can investigate things like why console is throwing an error and what is binding element body implicitly has an any type. That's interesting because it should be defined. Let me see if there's a problem with my TS server. Okay, seems like it's fine. Okay, yeah, just restarted my server and it's fine. No ESLint configuration found. I can add an ESLint, but maybe later. Up HTMX and let's see how it works. Here it is. Let me make it a bit smaller. Okay, so I want to first install it to have the setup and then to talk about like why and how and what's the idea behind it. Once we have this initial thing working for us, then the idea, the very basic idea of HTMX is that I think if HTMX can deliver and the tests that I want to do, if they pass, then it might be a real revolution because it solves a lot of problems that we have in development these days. And if they do it properly, then it's a huge win for everyone. So yeah, so that's what I want to do. But the idea is that you can through attributes. Okay, so you have their runtime loaded and in your HTML quite easily. And then you have like different attributes that you can use for interacting with the DOM, and you don't actually need to write any JavaScript or very little. So for example, here a click on this thing will trigger a post request to /clicked, and it's gonna, the response, which is HTML, is gonna replace this thing. If you think about it, it's very powerful because in front-end world, I don't know, React, pretty much any framework, so you have to write a lot of JavaScript to cope with this. You need to write the function that communicates with the backend. You need to have the DTOs. You need to maintain everything. You need to manage everything. You need to name stuff. You need like, and you add kilobytes and kilobytes of code. And in essence, the only thing you really want to do is like get info from the backend and relay it to the user quickly. Like this is your incentive. Try to be happy while doing that. So let's jump in. Let's go for docs. I'm going for installation and we're going to use the CDN. So for that, first we need to have some HTML, right? So let's replace that with that. Okay. Let's see if it works. Hello world, this is a simple HTML page. Great, we have something simple. I want to see how some of the things we're going to investigate is how you route, how you change route, how you manage these kind of things. So let's start with HTMX. We have this thing, CDN, very simple. I'm going to throw it here. Do they suggested? First, you can simply add it to the head tag. Let's put it in the head tag. Okay, and we have our HTML, simple HTML page. And let's start with a button. Click me. And we said that we want to have hx post equals /foo, right? and hx swap equals outer HTML. So I'm refreshing, I have my click me, let me open my inspect, let me make it a bit smaller. So let's see what happens with the network. So first of all, let's refresh the entire thing. All, so we have the localhost gave us this thing, cool, text HTML, and it got HTMX, the version, and the minified stuff. Great. They weigh 15K for the HTMX min, which is kind of nice. I like it. And so everything should be extremely fast. Yeah, we have a small thing, 500 bytes, 24 milliseconds. Click me. Okay. So we went to foo. Great. Everything went fine. And we got a response, invalid body username expected string. Okay, cool. So it threw an error over here. Awesome. On this type. So our schema validation worked, and we had a little, like almost no effort from our end, right? So let's quickly, let's think. I want to try to make it optional, just to see how it works, just to explore the docs. That's one. And two, maybe let's make it a form and collect this user data and submit it to the backend. And let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's start. So we're in the context of, yeah, this is Elysia, right? We are sorry, that's Uno. Get started. Cool. And patterns. So let's see what we have. Lazy loading, dependency injection, WebSocket, error handling. Okay, so let's start with error handling. Yeah, we didn't talk about it. So on error, okay. So currently we got no preview, and we have this response, which is okay. This is something we can send. Let's see what this thing gives us. With on error, you can cache and transform the error into your custom error messages. It's important that on error must be called before the handler you want to apply it to. For example, 404, okay, local custom error message. Okay, so we can have this. So it's very much like Zod or Yap or Joy. Custom error. Okay, so we can have these kind of things. Very nice. For now, let's go for the most basic one, just to see how it affects stuff. So let's go to our middleware place. Okay, we have a restart, and let's see how this thing behaves. I refreshed, click me. Okay, so we got a response. That's nice. What did we write? Error to string, return new response. Okay, so let's not return it. Let's, for example, log it. And I don't know, let's do something like that. No, let's, because okay, before I've added that, I had click me, and okay, so nothing happened, and I think it's a nice UX at the moment. Like I don't, let's, okay, so let's see if I return undefined, would it, and let's of course console log our thingy here. Okay, refresh, click, okay. So I got the error over here, which is nice. I got the response over here. Okay, cool. So awesome. I'm not gonna, like, I am gonna use this in a second because it's a form and this is the validation. So it's very nice that I got like this validation response, and I can actually give it back to the user really easily. And I hope you can see it's very powerful, right? Look how much code we didn't write. So even things like Swagger, Okay, two lines, like the import and the actual use. Bringing HTML in, extremely easy. Like everything is like kind of easy and makes sense so far. I don't know, we'll probably meet other use cases where things are a bit more complex. That's what I'm looking for. I find it kind of great. So almost no code, and we got this thing working very nicely. So let's add a form. So how we're gonna do that? Okay, let's create a function that's gonna create a form. Okay, simple JSX. So this is basically the end of part 1, where we went over the basic stack, made some basic calls to the backend, and everything seems like it's fine and working. So in the next parts, we're gonna talk about the actual product and start building the actual app. So stay tuned and feel free to subscribe or follow or whatnot.